Hey guys, this is my review for Child's Play 2019. Why does this shirt? Okay, I was wondering. I was like, this is way shorter than that one. But anyway, this is my review for Child's Play 2019. It's directed by Lars Klevberg. I think that's his name. I hope I said that right. So let me say, Child's Play, these Chucky movies, they've been churning them out like crazy. I think the people who had to do with the original, this is done by Ryan and Braun Creative, I think, which is a Canadian company. But the people who did the original Chucky movies and still are, I think they're coming out with the Universal Chucky like Universe TV show. They're coming out with like a Chucky TV series or something. They wanted nothing to do with this movie at all. They were like, no, why are you making Chucky? Blah, 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 blah. I think the guy who did the original voice, Charles Lee Ray, I think his name is, or I don't know, but everybody knows him. But he didn't do the voice. They wanted nothing to do with the movie. They didn't want anything. They didn't want no part of it. They like dismissed themselves from it. Personally, me, I grew up with a lot of Tales from the Crypt, Twilight Zone, Goosebumps, man, so much. Masters of Horror. Like I watched a lot of like American Horror. I watch a lot of horror stuff. And growing up, I read a lot of horror, watched a lot of horror. I've seen all the movies, Friday the 13th, Halloween, all that stuff. You know, Nightmare on Elm Street. Child's Play to me, my issue is Chucky was always supposed to be. Chucky was always supposed to be scary and funny. They always tried to have that mixture, like, oh, it's scary and funny, like a little bit of jokes in it. Me, I didn't like Chucky, period. Most people, one second. Me, I didn't like Chucky, period. Most people didn't like Chucky because they were scared of Chucky. Me, I wasn't scared of Chucky. Chucky was just lame to me. Chucky was not scary to me at all. Chucky was not funny at all to me. Like, I think the movie with the kid, there's the black kid that was in military camp or something like that. That movie was kind of interesting. The first Child's Play is kind of interesting, like seeing like the voodoo and all that stuff. But then I think some of the best ones, like where he had some development as a character, was like Seed of Chucky, Bride of Chucky, things like that. Like those few, they're decent, but there's never just a Chucky movie like, oh my God, you haven't seen Chucky. Like for me, that's how it is. Like I'm not gonna be like that with somebody. Like you haven't seen Chucky? Oh man, what's wrong with you? Because I don't care. Like Chucky's not that great to me. He's okay. He's all right. He's there. He made his stand. He made his mark on society. That's it. For this movie, I am kind of glad because they kind of, at this point, people think they're good, but they kind of know that their movies aren't that great, but they just keep churning them out anyway. I'm glad that the original people had nothing to do with it. I like the new take on Chucky. It's not the best movie, don't get me wrong, but this is one of the better to best Chucky movies because the way that they did it was interesting. So the movie, it stars Aubrey Plaza. You know her from Legion. She's been in a bunch of other stuff. I can't remember. I know her from Legion. That's where I know her from. I forget the other things she's in. I never watched it. I just know her name. I know who she is. I know she's in Legion. I love Aubrey Plaza. I love her so much. She's great. Mark Hamill voices Chucky. You know, he voiced the animated Joker. He played Luke Skywalker. Also, my dude Brian Tyree Henry is in here. Paperboy from Atlanta. He's been all over the place. I think he was in Hotel Artemis. He was in Widows. He's been so much lately. I'm so glad to see him getting work. He was in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But Brian Tyree Henry's in here. He did a great job. I liked him. There's somebody, I'm gonna make sure I'm not missing anybody. I think that's all the main important people that are in here. But so basically, the way it is, and I feel like this made sense. The story of Chucky for Child's Play, the new Child's Play, is he's a buddy doll, but they're like AIs. They're kind of like little robots. They learn from everything. They connect to all of your technology. And so the way that the movie was is instead of they took the voodoo aspect, where people are like, oh my god, they took out the voodoo aspect. They never really went far with that in the original Chucky's. I don't know what people talking about, whatever. The reason I like this movie better is the old Chucky's, he tried to trick the kids into thinking they had a bond so he could take their body because he was an evil serial killer guy. He was crappy. The reason I like this Chucky is because the buddy was not inherently evil. He learned what he learned from watching the movies that they were watching and from the things that the people, like the kid and the people around him were saying. I think Andy is his name? Andy? Yeah, Andy's his name. Like the original, I think. And so he learned from Andy what Andy was saying when he was upset and he was mad and he got hurt and stuff like that. And he learned from the TV and the movies that Andy and his friends were watching and the actions that they wanted him to do. Chucky wasn't bad. Chucky became evil and bad because he didn't know right from wrong, but due to what he learned. The guy in the beginning, all he did was take off the restrictions because all the dolls had restrictions for like violence, things like that. He just removed all the restrictions, so Chucky basically had free will to learn and free will to have choice. That's what made me like this movie, because if you think of it like, say, an animal who's trying to protect his owner, that wouldn't just attack people, but if he sees its owner getting hurt, he'll attack him. Or take it from a young child who is impressionable because of the things that they learn from the people around them and their surroundings. That's how I felt about how deep this movie went with the story. Because Chucky was, like I said, Chucky was not bad. Chucky wasn't just like, oh, I'm bad. Like, Chucky learned different things. He's like, oh, this must be okay because you're watching it, you like it. I'm gonna go do this. And then he started murdering people and hurting people because he didn't know it was wrong. He thought it was okay from their reactions and the way that they acted. And then at the end, yeah, he got crazy, but that was because he actually built the bond with Andy. They were friends. They had an actual bond. Chucky was not trying to get over him. It wasn't fake. The bond was actually genuine. And that's what I liked about this movie. That's why Chucky acts the way that he acts and does what he does, because they genuinely had a bond and they genuinely had a friendship. And so I feel like this movie is one of the better ones, if not the best one, to me, because of that, because of the way it went. It went a different route with establishing Chucky as who he was. If they can continue to do that with more movies, if they make more movies, cool. But for this first Child's Play 2019, I feel like they did a great job. I enjoyed it. It was interesting to me. You may not like it if you like the original Chucky's. I don't really care for them that much, so I enjoyed it. I like the new take on it. The movie was entertaining. There's some parts that are funny. One of the downsides I could say is Mark Hamill. He's great as animated Joker. As Chucky, I didn't really care for him as Chucky. His voice acting as Chucky, I won't really say it was bad, but it wasn't all that. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, Mark Hamill needs to be Chucky all the time. Like, no, it was, if we could get the original voice with this same story, that would probably be amazing. But it just didn't, I don't know, it didn't fit with me. Like, his voice as Chucky and the voice they were doing, it just wasn't all that. It was okay, it was decent, it was good enough, but it wasn't like amazing. It wasn't like you need to tell everybody in the world. But definitely, I'd say that this movie is a see it. I feel like I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the story, the way that it went. I feel like you guys enjoy it, especially the fact that he can, like, it shows like how dependent people are on technology, and it kind of shows how bad that can be. But I definitely enjoy the movie. Thank you guys so much for your time. You should see it. Thank you for your continued support as well.